Whoever looked at your life and thought there has to be more? Welcome to the Corporate Escapists podcast, where stories change lives. This is a space for bold women rewriting the rules, building businesses with soul, and choosing legacy over likes. If you're ready to be seen, heard, and valued, you're in the right place.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I am your host, Christine Innes. I am so delighted to have the very beautiful Angela joining me. Welcome, lovely, to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
I am so excited. I don't know. I just got this feeling today. I'm like, first of all, Tuesdays are my favorite day because I get to speak to amazing humans just like yourself. But you just never know where these conversations go. And that actually gets me excited because I know a little bit about your story and just what we can talk about as well. Most people know I get super carried away. So I'm just going to pause for a moment. I'm going to let you take over and introduce yourself to our audience, and let's have an amazing conversation.
I'm Angela Crawford, founder and director of Oasis Buyer's Agent. I'm a full-time single mum. I'm a Royal Australian Navy veteran of 18 years. And today it is my honour to be here speaking with you. And I get the most amazing job in the world, which is to buy property for people.
How cool is that? I mean, let's first of all talk about it. Thank you so much for your service as well. But the polar opposites of what, I guess I do understand. I was an ex-army wife. So I sort of understand a little bit about, military life, and it's very rigid. So considering your day would have been so rigid to now, whereas it would have to be, you never know what your day is going to look like.
It's very fluid.
Yeah.
It's very fluid.
Yeah. Was that a process for you? Because I think this is really important because most people who come out of either the corporate world or they come out of defense, those sorts of roles where you go in, you know what your job is, to running your own business. What has that been for you to sort of process as well?
Look, the transition has not been easy. In my personal life, everything went to shit. It turned upside down. Since leaving the Navy, I had a marriage breakdown, became a full-time single mum. We went through DV court. We're currently in family court for 3 years. And somewhere in between that, I just thought, why not start a business? I had never had any inclination to start a business. I was actually studying and really loving it, doing a dual diploma of HR and business management. But I realized with the marriage breakdown, the full-time single mum, spicy little boys and very busy little boys, I just couldn't commit to HR. As much as I loved it, my passion was always real estate. Selling real estate just didn't resonate with me and my values. And I couldn't do HR. It wasn't a 9-to-5 job. It was very labor intensive. I don't have before and after school care. My kids needed me. They had, specialist appointments and things like that. So I just had to sit down and really shake it up and go what the hell am I going to do with my life? And there has to be more. I was so, I was checking all the boxes, but I was just so unhappy. And I'd bought mum's unit a few years previously, and then she had wanted to transition out of her unit and into a small house, and was really overwhelmed at the buying and selling process. And I really quite love it. And we went around, and every place we went, I knew the real estate agent, I knew their wife, I knew their kids, I had some sort of connection. And it wasn't until my mum said, oh my God, all of the real estate agents, I kind of went, yeah, I do, don't I? And then we went to one property, and it was supposed to be an open home, a private open home for my mum and I. And there was another man turned up, and I'd never seen him before. And the real estate agent spent his whole time with this other man and neglecting mum and I. And in the end, I said to him, who is this guy? And he said, oh, he's a buyer's agent. And I was just like, what is that? And he said, oh, he buys property for people. And I just went home and researched it. And I was like, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. For me, fighting to keep the family house was really quite a big thing. And I'd bought and sold lots of property over the years and renovated and flipped. So I knew the ins and outs, and I knew that if I lost the family home in the divorce, I couldn't afford to buy, especially not at the quality and what the kids were used to. And mum was so overwhelmed, and I just went, this is it. I just made a decision, jumped in, probably not my finest moment because I didn't go for a business coach or anything. I just Googling and chat GPTing and threw myself into it.
Yeah. What has been like, I love your story so much because I think there's so many different elements that everyone can relate to. But also too, when you look at values, I think when people are going into business, we need to look at what are our values, because we want to do something that continues to light us up and not just feel like, oh my goodness, like this constant pressure, because running a business is not easy as well. What has been the biggest moment for yourself realizing that you had the gift within yourself? Because I always think that most of us don't realize our own talent as well.
I think it was born out of I realized how hard it was going to be to keep the family home if I lost it. Seeing mum overwhelmed, I was thankful that, we had a lot of stuff to sell in the property settlement. So I had money there. And I needed more from life, really. It wasn't, even someone said set your goals. And I said, I want to earn like $100,000. And I felt ridiculous saying that. Like, how ridiculous that this day and age, a woman can't confidently say, I want to earn 100 grand.
Yeah.
Why can't you just say that? Set it. If you don't make it, that's okay. But you've got to have something to work towards.
Yeah.
So finding that first client was probably my biggest, oh my God, can I do it? And then I did it. I smashed it, found an off-market property. It's gone up in seven months in over $100,000. They're very happy. And then it was like really my second client was like, oh, what am I doing? Am I qualified? Like that self-limiting belief was right there on my shoulder. And then there was days where you just have to, like, no one is coming to save you. You just have to kick yourself in the ass and go, I've done this. I've done it with X amount of times. Even if it's only one client, I've done it. I can do it. And at the end of the day, my kids are my driving force. I needed the money. We're still in family court. It's cost me about $250,000 so far, which is, not great. So what am I going to do? I can be a victim of my circumstances and look at everything that's happened to me and continue to be, poor me, life sucks. Or I could make a choice and I could go, okay, this is where I'm at, but what do I do now? And look forward, and how do I move forward? And now, like, I teach my kids about money. They know what my clients are paying. We talk about interest rates and how much things cost, and they know, like, roughly what I earn per transaction. And I never had that growing up. I didn't have a financial education. So for me, it's really important to also share that knowledge with the next generation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, when we go from working for somebody else to working for ourselves, a lot of people think, oh, you've got all this flexibility, they don't understand the other mechanics that are behind it. Like there's social media, there's the accounting, there's, and the biggest thing, like I always say, is the personal development, like journey, like as you were talking about before. What's been one of the things that you have found stepping from being an employee to your own boss?
Yeah, well, like you said, flexibility is one of them. If, the kids are sick or they have appointments, great. I get to pick who I work with. I get to pick when I work. But in saying that, there's also no flexibility because I don't have 1,000 employees behind me that I can just palm the work off to if I have the day off. So I don't have before and after school care. My day really doesn't start until 9. Sometimes it starts at 4 a.m. Sometimes it starts at 6 a.m. Mostly it doesn't start till 9. It finishes by 3 when I have to do school pickup and we do sport and, dogs and jobs and life. And then my day starts again at 9 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's 9 p.m. till midnight and 1 a.m. And then I'm back starting at 6 a.m. So yes, there's flexibility, but there's no off switch. There's no just walk away. You'll be right. Someone else will do it or not my problem. It's my clients, my business, and my reputation. So those hats, you're just juggling. And like you said, I've had to learn social media and I'm running four different accounts, and I've started my own Facebook group to support people moving here. I now have global clients that need support. There's just so much to it. There's marketing, which, you know, for me, everything's been organic until now, but now I'm starting to have to learn meta advertising, which is a whole new, you know, ball game. I've had to bring on a VA because I just can't get bogged down in the day to day. So that's another cost. And it's not at the point of recouping money yet, but she's taking things off my plate. And that was a decision I had to make. And then obviously like reaching out and meeting you. So now I have broadened myself in personal development, and I'm presenting on stages and speaking to women about financial independence and getting your shit together, because no one's coming to save you, regardless of what you've been through, whether it's really horrific or just a little bit not great. The only one that can change your circumstances is you. However that looks for you, no judgment, but no one's going to change your future. That's a decision you have to make. And you know, with business, you've like my kids and I fist pump every time I talk to a potential client. Then we fist pump when they become a client. Then we fist pump when, you know, we just went under contract this morning for another property, and they were with me on the weekend and saw the property. So we're fist pumping about that. You've got to celebrate every little thing, because that's what counts along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there is a lot, like you're saying, like the highs and lows. And I mean, that's life. You know, we've all had experiences in life where things haven't worked out. And, you know, my journey is, you know, well, I'm not going to say the same as yours, but it is similar in a lot of aspects. But it's also too where I think when we start taking full ownership of our story, like it actually changes the way that we show up in the world. It's almost like going, oh, well, I don't want to share that part of it because, you know, there's a lot of shame and guilt associated with it. But when we start taking that full ownership of absolutely everything, and that's the good, the bad, and I always say the messy middle stuff, you know, it really changes how we show up for ourselves as well.
It really does. You know, I've had so many people say they resonate with me. I've had people that haven't even become clients, but I've stepped them through getting divorced, and why I didn't want to take them on as a client, because she wasn't financially separated, and then everything would be at risk. You know, so there's so much to it, and that's why I love, you know, what I do. And Oasis Buyers Agent stands for helping people. I don't work with everyone. You know, when people interview me and say, oh, tell me why I should work with you, I throw it back at them and say, but tell me why I should work with you. Like, I'm a single mum and I give everything to my kids and my clients. So you have to be the right fit for each other. And I think that's another really hard lesson in business is when you start, you kind of just like quick take whatever you can get. But as you grow, and, you know, my values have always been quite understood. Especially with, you know, 18 years in the Royal Australian Navy. So I knew what my values were, but still at the start, I was scrapping for every bit of business. Now I say to people, sorry, I'm just not the right fit, or I'm not comfortable working with you for X, Y, Z. And walk away. And I don't lose any sleep over it, because those ones would be probably my hardest clients that would end up in a mess anyway. And I openly say to people, my personal life is a mess. I don't need that translating into my business life. So I keep it locked down.
Yeah. I hear you with that, because it is, it's a, you know, like I say, like, you know, starting your business is that personal development journey. And we learn, you know, who we want to work with, who are the clients that light us up, you know, that because we still need job satisfaction, regardless of, you know, whether you're working for somebody else or you're working for yourself. Job satisfaction is absolutely key, because it's going to keep you motivated when times are not so great, as well. And when you have to do the hard things, you know, like my favorite thing is not dealing with accountants. So, you know, it's sort of like, okay, here we go. Great. No worries. I still love what I do, with it. Why, like, if somebody is out there, you know, and tell us a little bit more about like the buyer's agent sort of journey, you know, with it, because I think it's still a new concept in a way for people as well. So give us a little bit of background of what the process is and how it's going to lighten the load for other people.
Okay, so a lot of people are familiar with, you know, selling Sunset and LA and all those sorts of things, right? They're real estate agents. So buyer's agents are real estate agents. You have to be licensed in your state. but I choose not to sell real estate. So I say to people, I'm a real estate agent that doesn't sell real estate. And they go, the hell are you talking about? And I buy it for people. So your job, I couldn't do your job. Throw me in, coach, and I wouldn't have any idea what I'm doing. Same as the average person will only buy the family home either like for the oldies, it's once in their generation. Maybe for, millennials and Gen Z, it's maybe every 10 years. But in that 10 years, a lot changes. And if you're not in the industry every day and you don't know the conditions or the issues, the pricing, you don't have the relationships with the real estate agents, you're not going to get the information you need. So a buyer's advocacy is, I joke around and say to people, you go to work and earn the money and you leave it to me to spend your money because I'm really good at spending other people's money.
Yeah.
And I love it. I've got clients, I had teachers move over from America. I've got clients at the moment at Thursday Island. I've had clients in Weipa, Gove, Perth, Tasmania. Distance is no barrier because we use a lot of technology. They don't have to be buying in the Cairns region. I buy Australia-wide. I have an entire network of other buyers agents. So if I can't get there in person to inspect the property, I pay for someone else to go and do it for me out of my pocket for my clients as part of the service. It's all about working out with the client, their budget, what they need help with, understanding their family dynamic, because most people are like, oh, I just want a 4-bed, 2-bath, 600 square meters, 800,000. But when you find that on paper, oh no, well, it's not close to bus routes and it doesn't suit this because I might have a small grandchild living with me and, oh, my son has to catch the bus to school. Like, you really need to dig deep and understand it. And that's fine. The brief changes. I say that to everyone. If it doesn't, we've either done a fantastic job or something's very wrong. So it's really understanding people and just listening to them, being their advocate. My clients have access to me, probably not the best work-life balance, but pretty much 24/7 between, WhatsApp, email, socials, phone call, text messages, you name it. My phone is going off quite a lot. But if it's going to help them and gets a deal, I'm not here just to do deals. I will also tell them to walk away from deals.
Yeah.
I had a client that's got under contract today and they wanted to pay X amount and I got them secure the property for $7,000 less, which just bought them the new fence that they wanted to install.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that people understand the conditions, the responsibility, when they need to do things. If they don't have conveyancers and brokers, or they've got a shitty broker like these people, we connect them with new people. I make sure everyone's in the loop. So unless I tell my clients I need them to do something, it's quite a smooth transaction. They don't even have to be there to inspect. The agents, that they don't get bombarded by agents because the agents don't have their details. They only have my details.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it keeps
absolutely.
their privacy and their stress levels really low while they have someone literally holding their hand at every single step.
I love it. I love it so much. Would you, going back when you first started your business, what piece of advice would you have given yourself now?
Oh, I love these questions. And it's actually become, one of the main sort of quotes in my keynote speech is, no one's coming to save you.
Yeah.
You are going to get judged whether you do whatever it is you want to do, whether you don't do it, whether you sit there and still don't do it and for another 5 years. People are going to judge you either way.
Yeah.
So you know what? It's your life. Just do it. If you want to start a business, great, do it. Don't be like me, get some business advice first, but go and start the business.
Yeah.
If you want to change careers, do it. If you're unhappy in your marriage, do something about it.
Yeah.
Your life, you get to choose. And whether you stay or you go or you change the destination or your career, whatever it is, you're going to get judged.
Yeah.
People are going to think, oh, that was a mistake. It was too much money. She's an idiot. Whatever. Just do it.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing is, stop waiting for permission.
Yeah.
Just dive in.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think the only person who needs to give permission is you to yourself.
Yeah.
We sit there and we wait for so many different things. And for me, it's like there's never going to be the perfect time because perfection actually does not exist.
It doesn't exist. Exactly right. But, that also comes with personal development through professional development is you go, okay, some days getting it done is better than not getting it done. And, it might not be 100%, it might not even be 50%, but it takes stacking the dishwasher or doing the washing, right? I will openly tell you, and I happily share this story, I have run the dishwasher and the washing machine probably 5 or 6 times in a row, because then it sits there and I forget about it.
Yeah.
And then I think, oh crap. And I used to beat myself up and berate myself over it. And now I'm just like, no one knows. Like, these are all rules that our parents and grandparents at some point made up, that the washing and the dishes had to be done at night time and everything had to be clean. If you don't have capacity or you just can't do it, just run it again. No one's going to know.
Exactly. I mean, when I have chronic illnesses, so sometimes, like, when the day of just getting out of bed is actually a good day for me. And I think a lot of people, like, we just put so much pressure. Like, don't put your life does not need to be Instagram worthy, to be honest. Because it's called real life for a reason. So
exactly.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Well, I love what you're doing. And, if somebody's listening right now and, who is going to be the ideal client that you're looking for?
Yeah, so I am really passionate about helping women and families. Obviously, I will work with all clients as long as I'm the best fit for them and they are also the best fit for me. That's a two-way street, non-negotiable. I am really driven to help women and families, because statistics show that out of, all Australians that don't invest outside of their superannuation or their family home, 64% of those are women, which means we're more than twice as likely to not do anything about our financial freedom, whether that's through fear, lack of knowledge, not knowing where to start. Like, that's fine. So just book a call with me. It's no obligation. I'm quite literally the worst salesperson, because I'm not pushy. If it's not for you, that's okay, but I will still share my time with you. I'm legitimately just want to help people. If I can push you in the right direction with a nudge, great. And if it's like really not the right time and you just want some information, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same, because it's going to be the right fit if it's the right fit. So
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I absolutely love what you're doing. I think, so many more people, especially, we are living busy lives, and I just don't want that to be a stereotype, but it is true. Like, we are juggling multiple things. So having someone like you is like a guardian angel. So I just think it's just so needed. So thank you so much.
I love what I do. Thank you. Like, the real estate industry is traditionally male. It's traditionally protecting the sellers. And I think for me in advocacy is that it's getting the education piece out there, which I'm really quite passionate about, because a lot of people don't actually realize that the selling agent, as nice as they are, and some of them are my great friends, but they are working for the seller. They want you emotionally invested. They want you paying a high price. They want you to need this property. Whereas I walk in, I'm like, yeah, it's a nice house. I wouldn't even let my mum buy her dream property because it was the agent was overpricing it. And I said to Mum, we're walking away. And she was like, oh, but no. And so I say to people, if I won't even let my mum do it, like, I'm not going to let you do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you're the secret weapon that everybody needs. So right. I think it's amazing. Before you go, we have 4 questions that we ask our guests. Just a little bit of fun, just to sort of get to know you on a personal level. So first of all, do you have a favorite motivational quote?
Oh, I don't actually. Do you know what? My mind is always racing.
Yeah.
I don't live by one quote. Yeah. Actually, I've just said that and I've looked up at my computer screen. I went to an award ceremony last year, and on there it's just printed on plain white paper, and it just says in pink, if you can dream it, you can do it.
There we go.
And it's just sitting on the side of my computer, and I was like, I don't have a quote, and I looked straight up at it and went,
that is. Yeah. There we go. Do you think that it is a book or a movie or, series or something like that somebody needs to be reading or watching?
Yeah, I love the Mel Robbins book. I think she's amazing, especially if you're feeling lost or going back to that everyone's got a judgment of you regardless of what you do. No one walks in your shoes. They don't know your exact thing. So that whole let them theory, just water off a duck's back. Let them behave like that. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
I really do resonate quite well with that. Because once you stop carrying around everyone else's thoughts and cares and worries, you can just focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And all of that, I get judged. I walk into a room and get judged, and I just look around and go, oh, well, you were
Yeah.
going to do it anyway, whether I turned up perfect or perfectly imperfect. So
Exactly.
just let them.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. Is there an inspirational person that we should be following?
Me, obviously.
Of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to pop all the details so people can follow
Thank
you
you.
as well below. And is there somebody that you know of that we should be having on the podcast next?
Oh, good question. I will have to come back to you on that because I'm not really all that great on Instagram. I'm getting better. That is my weakness. But yeah, I have found some amazing people on Instagram lately where I'm just checking them out and flooding into the DM. So I'll
Oh my
let
God,
you know.
send them to me. Send them to me. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Angela, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your gifts and wisdom with all of us. Like I said, we're going to pop all the details below so people can reach out to you. And yeah, just thank you so much for just sharing your gifts.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate, you taking the time and coming on. It's been a bit of a journey for you and I to get here, but we made it happen when it was supposed to happen, and I really believe that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you for every single one of you who are watching today or listening to this episode. Remember to live life to the fullest. Love and light to you all.
Whoever looked at your life and thought there has to be more? Welcome to the Corporate Escapists podcast, where stories change lives. This is a space for bold women rewriting the rules, building businesses with soul, and choosing legacy over likes. If you're ready to be seen, heard, and valued, you're in the right place.